Hi everyone, and welcome to a quick monthly update. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, I was continuing with the UX design for the redesign of hackspaces.org. So as you can see, there are a lot more screens that I added, everything from more details about how to start a hackspace, including the events page for individual events, the pages for individual hackspaces, as well as some first introduction on how you can add your space using the API or using a form. And then there was another mini project that I started because I was getting really annoyed with having a lot of coins that I collected over the months, and I just don't like having coins in the pockets of my onesie falling out all the time. And so I just try to not use them at all. However, over time I got a lot of coins, and I now finally had the idea of like, hey, why not building a coin case with LEDs? And yeah, so I did. I created this 3D model for that in Tinkercad, and the idea was to laser cut it and then glue it together. Honestly, it was a bit of a mess. I did some mistakes when it comes to using way too much glue, and yeah, it didn't help that the tip of the bottle was not working properly. The end result still looks kind of nice, I guess, but using this acrylic that is has this milky look, doesn't actually forward the light all the way to the top, which was my hope. So I guess for that I would have needed to use just transparent acrylic. But oh well, still learned something anyway. But by far the biggest project that I worked on the most time this month was the glowing stripes project. So basically this expandable, portable LED system where I create my own, well, everything myself basically. Everything from the case, which I 3D modeled in Tinkercad, and then try to laser cut it as a first try, to the UX design and interface and building the front end and coding the back end and everything. And yeah, it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. So one of the things that I learned is the acrylic, it looks great. It's like a milky acrylic when the light is shining through, but it's not stable at all, to be honest. It's really wobbly and by far not stable enough for making 2-meter long LED strips. And the other thing that I noticed is making small details like this stair-like increase of height for the base of the LED stripes is very difficult to do in laser cutting, or actually in building it up later on after you finish laser cutting. And then there was a software issue that I had and wasn't able to fix. Basically, I got a memory error with the ESP32 that I have, and where I use MicroPython and a MicroPython based web server on it. And the issue is that just the code for the web server is so large, like we're talking about at least 500 lines of code in a single file. And yeah, the ESP32 cannot handle that with only 512 kilobytes of memory. But hey, it wasn't all bad. I made a lot of progress when it comes to the front end. I first did the wireframes in Figma to create an overview of like what parts the interface should include and how they should be connected with each other. And then I actually did the UI design. So the idea is that you have everything from being able to control individual LED strips, making them all glow in the same mode, in the same animation, but also allowing you to save combinations of animations for later, customize animations in a simple way, not making it too complicated, since the goal is really to create a software that people without a lot of experience and without investing hours of trying to understand the program can actually use it for. And yeah, the front end also looks already pretty good. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong, but it's making good progress. And after all, it was also nice to see how the acrylic behaves with the LEDs underneath. And while it's definitely not stable enough for the glowing stripes project, it's still nice and using it somewhere in the apartment. Even while the 3.5mm audio jack is also not really pleasant to work with and not very reliable either, you gotta admit. So, where to go from here? First of all, I will replace the ESP32 since it's definitely not having enough memory. Plus the performance is not really amazing either. The web server that's running on both the LED strip base, as well as on the host, having difficulties even providing the web interface. So yeah, so I'm gonna replace the ESP32 with a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is a bit more expensive, but a lot more powerful and has more than 1,000 times the memory. So I probably shouldn't have any memory issues anymore. Also, instead of using acrylic as a case for the LED strips, I'm now going to use aluminum-based profiles that also have a nice semi-transparent milky surface on top of it. And they're a lot more stable, that's what I can already tell you. Plus I'm going to replace the 3.5mm audio jack by using a more reliable and standardized connector for LED strips. And so once the Glowing Stripes project is done, including the web interface and controlling everything, I will make and release the new video about it. So you can actually see the whole process, the story behind it, and of course how you can build it yourself. Also I considered making DIY kits that people can buy from me, so they have a much easier time of building the Glowing Stripes project at home with just a minimum equipment. And I hope to finally finish the UX design part of the new hackspace.org website, and then also start with the UI design, so basically designing all the colors, the fonts, and all the details basically, before I then continue with building the real web interface and the backend code, of course. And last but not least, my bike has once again issues, like the battery in the back has to be replaced since it's not working anymore properly. Also, I wanted to replace the ESP32 that's currently controlling the LED strips with a combination of both the ESP32 and a microcontroller that has a Bluetooth controllable app as well as a microphone, and just integrating a simple switch so I can switch between the two signals, and that would allow me to make it a real glowing to music reacting bike. How would you like the idea? So yeah, that's the plan for October. Then have a good day and see you with the next update. Bye!